Last year in the United States, the average cost to have a baby, if you're insured, was $10,000. If you're not insured, the cost was about double that. The average cost of college per year last year, if you're an in-state student and you're going to public school, was $10,000 a year. That's if you're in-state. And if you go to a public school out of state, it was $25,000. And if you go to a private school, the average cost per year last year in the United States was $50,000 a year. Last year, the average cost of a wedding was almost $26,000. The average house sold in the United States last year for $310,000. And on average last year, it cost $12,000 in the United States to die. I know a lot of people watching will say, those numbers are ridiculous. I didn't pay that amount. Like, for example, it didn't cost me $26,000 to get married, or I didn't pay $310,000 for a home. Well, there's a lot of people who paid less, but there's a lot of people who paid more too. One statistic out of those stats that really struck me, that stuck out in my mind, was that the average house last year cost $310,000 in America. Now, if you compare that to the average tiny house that sold on tiny house listings last year, which was $47,500, that means the average tiny house last year sold was about 15% on average of what the average person paid for a house last year. So if you add all these numbers together, and then that's not even including other things like other milestones like birthdays, Christmas, going to school, regular school, the price of food, electricity, water, If you add it up, you start to realize that the deck is stacked against you. Like, if you look at what the average person makes per year in their family household versus what they spend, it's just not sustainable. So if you're one of those people and you believe that this is the path you have to take because you see it on TV, you see it on marketing, you see your friends doing it, you see other people doing it, if you buy into this fact that, like, these are things you have to do, these are things you have to spend, this is the way it is, this is the type of house you have to buy. Yes, you go get a 30-year loan. Yes, you spend money on a wedding, that's even maybe borrow money to do it. All these things, if you buy into that fact, if you buy into that mantra, it's going to be very difficult to get ahead. And that's one of the beautiful things I love about tiny houses, because not only when you start saving money on the house that you live in, your most expensive recurring expense, your biggest expense, you start to look at other things too. You're like, what are some other ways I can save money because I'm doing it here? I've cut out my biggest expense. And a lot of things naturally happen. You have less space to put stuff, to buy things on credit. So they say home is where the heart is. Well, when your heart's in the right place, when you're thinking about saving money for your children's future, for your own future, just for your own sanity, when you get into that place, when you get into that mindset and you can stay there forever because you're content with what you have, it opens up a lot of possibilities for you, a lot of potential to get away from zero, to get away from, as soon as you have a little bit of money, you spend it because, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. It's not true. Give yourself the power. Swing the financial pendulum back in your favor, right? You have more time, more money. Please consider 2019 either building a tiny house for yourself or buying one, and then being part of the tiny house community, part of the tiny house movement. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.